I guess that means it's go time. Sometimes I stay in here for too long and try and figure out if I'm actually ready or not, and then surprise! you gotta get to it. So today we have a Civic. This isn't the hatchback Civic, so there really isn't anything major to worry about on this one. You guys know we've done the triple spoiler hatchback in the past. We've done some Honda Accords. This is the regular sedan Civic, which still looks very nice. But nothing complicated about the back. The only thing that's maybe a little concerning is going to be like the front doors, just the way the mirror kind of gets in the way, and the front door sits a little bit lower on that front edge. Nothing crazy though. So we should be able to handle it and not jinx ourselves too much. So how y'all doing today? I think I got everything up and running. But that's what we're gonna be tackling today. Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing 20%. 20% ceramic with a windshield strip. So I need you guys to remind me that we're doing a windshield strip, which I think I forgot to grab. No, should use that roll. Okay, I think we're good. Lionel, Andrew, Samuel, Stangman, T-Town. What year? New? Let me find out. It's a 21. It's a 21. Brand new. I thought it was new. Easy money. Love tinting those easy money. Everything to you guys is easy money. Are you an authorized dealer of Geo? Yes, you can buy it through mytintstuff.com. Two pops and the seal comes right out. We're not going to do that though. Are you going to be using the plotter? Maybe for the back window still. I don't know. I kind of want to see what it does on the front doors, but I really don't want to do that with my ceramic. You know. It's one of those things. Pro classic jobs, yeah, we can sacrifice some film. No Potter, please. But on the back window, generally, it should be pretty reliable. We can look see what kind of patterns they have, stuff like that. But I did try it this morning on a new Wrangler front doors. The top corner didn't work for me, so I tossed that and hand cut them. I was kind of sad about that one. So it's like the more I use it, the more I'm like, some of them are really good. Some of them are just not so good, and that's generally been my experience with like every software. So I had high hopes, but I think it's going to be maybe something that I can just like refer people to if you're interested in plotter software, but there's definitely still some hang-ups in something like that. What's Gorilla Glass? Oh, so I had a post. This is just going to be a heads up for some of you guys too. It's a good question. Let's see how far down I have to scroll for this post. It's a little smushed. So Gorilla Glass, like your phone. If you guys look here, I made a post in my Facebook group. So if you're not a part of the Facebook group, then I highly suggest being a part of the Facebook group, even if it's just for random awareness things or whatever, because I post these, other people post stuff like this. As newer things come out, there's things to be aware of with different vehicles. It's like you never really know until you take them apart, you tint them, you spray water somewhere where you shouldn't. You don't cover things quite up as nice as what you hope. So this is a Jeep windshield. It's got a Gorilla Glass stamp because they love that marketing there. So Gorilla Glass Corning has been doing this like automotive collab for a little bit now. And this is the Wrangler. Guy had no idea that he had a Gorilla Glass windshield at all. So I gave him a call. Basically, these are going to be incredibly heat sensitive. For whatever reason, they scratch easy, and they're incredibly heat sensitive. So the laminate will fry very quickly. So it's just something different that they're doing. They were trying to introduce it on like the Raptors, Mustang quarter windows, select Jeeps. just as like an extra thing to hopefully make it more durable, but it's got some just general tinter problems. So don't cut on them, and be careful with a heat gun. I know one of the biggest things that some people pointed out in my group was, you don't have to shrink those. Why would you take a heat? It's like, shut up. Look, this is a general awareness thing. It's not uncommon for me to snap shrink these a little bit, and then especially if you have a small finger, something. If you get a heat gun close to it, just be incredibly careful or don't do it at all. Okay? Okay? All right. The next thing is, if you were doing it on, like, let's say the Raptor and they happen to have it, you're going to shrink it. So, one disclaimer I gave this guy was, look, if for any reason you get pulled over for your windshield, you need me to remove it, there's a good chance that I'm going to destroy your windshield if I try and steam it or something like that. So I'd have to try and do it in another way. Even then, they're touchy things. And these cost over $1,000, so you just don't want to mess around with it. That's it. You just be careful. Don't mess around with them too much. If you need to get a separate piece of glass, then do that. Otherwise, it is what it is. There. Now I can get my windows back here. So I need that one, and then I need... Why isn't my chat one of the ones that pop up? That's weird. I shrink those shields every time. I usually snap them a little bit. So in this case, he had no idea that he even had a Gorilla windshield. So when I called him, he was just like, yeah, that's fine. Just go ahead and do it. So when he came in to pick it up, he was like, yeah, what's the deal with those? I was like, they're like $1,000 to replace. He's like, oh. Because he was just like, just do it. All right. And I did it. I used Glass 8 on it, and then I snapped it a little bit on the glass board. And then there you go. Bippity-bop. It's all done. So we're going to get started. But that drives me crazy, man. Little, like, don't take any heat to it. Why would you take heat to the windshield? It's like, shut up. That's not the point. I don't care if you want to. It's like, it would be the same thing on doors. I tell anybody, if I told anybody to shrink, like be careful shrinking these door windows, I'd have like 20 people chime in and be like, I put panels so I never have to shrink door windows ever. Like, shut up. That's not helpful. Have you ever had overly picky clients? Oh, yeah, everybody does. You can't be in this retail business without picky clients. It's just, this is part of it. The cheaper you go, the more picky people you're going to have, too. That's a funny thing to find out. There's like, I swear, there's this sweet spot for people where a good amount of people in a particular price range aren't going to be, like, this is just like a rough disclaimer. There's always going to be exceptions to this rule, but if you, like, people with a little bit more of a disposable income generally just, you know, they have other things to worry about. So as long as you do a nice job, they're not going to, like, stick their nose to the glass and nitpick every little thing. But some of my pickiest clients were years ago doing cheaper work. It was just like when you're doing like $150 tint jobs and below, you get such picky people. You sound angry today? No, I just get annoyed. Like when you try and make a post and then you get like a bunch of contrarians responding to it, and it's like, it drives me crazy. Because how many other people aren't posting because it's like the pushback that you get from something like that. It's like you show, like somebody shows how to take something apart, and then it gets hammered with a bunch of people that are like, "Oh, I don't take anything apart." And it's like, that's fine. If you don't do it, it's fine. But it's like completely sidestepping like what the intent of the post is about. It's like, okay, then it's obviously this isn't for you then if you don't do this. So I try and manage it as good as I can in my group. And like, I don't just stifle conversations like that. It just definitely gets under my skin. But I guess it does make the post bigger. But it, like, and you can have it both ways. I've seen like somebody. Oh, there's a great post. There's a great post in my group. Some guy was just beaten over the head about like, hey, like he did this Accord and posted some after pictures. He's like, yeah, I removed these to tint them, and then he had like 10 people ask him like, how did you do that? That looks amazing. And then he actually posted a video later on removing the quarter and got nothing but pushback. It's like, come on. So if you like, whatever you post, it's like the responses that you get are the opposite when you show the process or something. It's like you always get just the exact opposite. If you shrink door windows and you post about it, people are like, I don't shrink door windows. And if you don't shrink door windows and you post about it, people go, oh, I always shrink door windows. It's just like you can't win. It's so annoying. What's hilarious that everyone is better than everyone in those groups? Yeah, that happens a lot. It's like if somebody can tint a door window in 5 minutes and post about it, then somebody's like, ooh, I can tint it in 2 minutes. And then somebody else is like, oh, I can tint it in 2.5 minutes. And then somebody tints it in 5 seconds and blows everybody out of the water. And then gets a bunch of responses from people saying like, yeah, but I bet it's dirty. Quality over quantity. And then, so the cycle begins again. The quarter windows, I personally pull 2 on those Accords, and I think they turn out better that way. I think you're probably better off doing it that way. So I was really happy to see how he actually did it. But it's like, unless the guy was in a clean room using like white gloves instead of where like everybody else is. And like you see something that may be like a little bit like, or just in general, and then he just gets nothing but hate for it. It's just so annoying. Anyways, I'm out of carpet shield, so I gotta try and figure out something else here. I ran out this morning. I could tint it with my left foot. Ugh, you're gonna use your whole foot? Dude, I can tint it with my left small toe. Dude. I just look at it and it's tinted already. The cyberbullying is brutal. It gets that way. My group is generally pretty good, but thank you.
Jorge Sandoval super chatted $10. I don't put tape blah blah blah.
Jorge with the 10. Thank you so much for the 10. I don't put tape blah blah blah. Oh yeah? Well, if you're gonna be a contrarian, at least you're gonna super chat about it. I don't do it this way. Blah, blah. Oh, you know, if everybody wants to tell me opposite and then throw money my way, I'm not gonna complain then. You posted the link. Wonder where you can get it. So I buy like 4 rolls at a time. And the problem is I forget I don't have it at the wrong time. So I didn't even have to, I don't have time to run and get it. I was hoping to finish one of my appointments a little bit earlier and then run and grab it and then come back. Well, if I do that, there's no stream time. This car got dropped off. It's just an extra half an hour out of the day.
Daniel Rayner super chatted $9.99.
Daniel Rayner.
Kumu Star Grandmaster Matt Kuya. Good news, I hit a call and finally getting my Jaguar plotter. Hurrah.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Congrats on getting a plotter. I hope it works out. No, thank you. I really appreciate it. If you play around with some other software and it's working out really good for you, let me know. I would love to use what works. So I'm having like mixed results with this one. I think overall, some stuff is working really well, and some stuff is just not quite up to it. And you never know until you get it. So thank you so much for the 10. Thanks, I used the tape. Glad to hear it. If you use it, if you don't use it, it's all good. I have to tint these some way. If I followed everybody in the group, nothing would get tinted. Because everybody is a stickler about everything. Not everybody. There's good people there. Just sometimes they get drowned out. I hear DAP is great, but I could never switch to a brand solely for it. That's my opinion about it. I used it. I think it's fantastic, and I'm very sad that they have it locked down. So if you're using XPEL, it's kind of like, hey, that's good news. But if you're not using it, then they like let a bunch of people use it. They got the name out there, and then they yoinked it back. So you either kind of fly under the radar, but that I think that caught up with a lot of people. So no fun. It's good marketing though. Plus, like, I think what really drives me crazy about something like that is it's not even necessarily that it's specifically to them. It's that you couldn't get it. Like, you can't always get it. So if you're a dealer and you're located here, and then you have an XPEL dealer that's already located like within a certain radius, and you're like, oh, hey, I'd love to use it. That's fine. Well, you can't. You just, sorry, that's it. It's like, oh, now what do I do? I don't know. Go find something else, which isn't a good answer. How much do you add to your installation solution? I use about 3/4. The ratio is about 3/4 Dawn and 1/4. Oh no, sorry. 3/4 baby shampoo, 1/4 Dawn. But this is kind of more specific to using the films that I use. Your films may vary. Super. Christopher. With the 5.
Christopher Ramirez super chatted $4.99. Flex Film 4.0 is great software for a plotter.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Flex Film 4.0 is great. I'm pretty sure we don't promote. I'm pretty sure it's a rebranded the film and vinyl. But thank you for that. I appreciate the 5. We don't promote Flex Fail here. Yeah, there's definitely some mixed opinions out there, but somebody uses it, somebody likes it. It's just not something that I talk about a whole lot. What's your fee for mobile tinting? I just don't do it. I don't know what I would charge, but I don't do it. I used to. Not from here, though. No, thank you. I'm good. Okay, so we need to Ba, ba, ba. This one. No, not that one. Where's my actual 20%? There it is. This one. It's film and vinyl. I actually enjoy using it. That's good. I didn't have super positive feedback about film and vinyl when I used it. I hear, like, it was kind of the same thing. It was really, really iffy. What is that boom? Is that Facebook? Is that what that's doing? Yes, that is. All right, we're going to close you. Ah, dang. Sorry. I want to see real quick if I can pin. I should have my stream going to my group too. So like recent posts. Why does it do this? That's dumb. How do I turn off sales format? I noticed this was a thing. Switch the camera. I shouldn't have switched the camera. Dang. I shouldn't have switched the camera. I don't know how it did that. That's weird. Okay. Sorry. I was trying to pin. Pin to featured. I was just trying to get it to show in the group because it's had problems showing it in the group. It like turns it into like a weird sales format. Sorry about that. That's what happens when I try and do something nice. Really think if you use a cheaper plotter, that's where most of the my bad cuts come from? It's possible. But there's some, like a little wave or something, like you could pass off as like a cheaper plotter. But there's some that are like, pretty sure that was just janky. But I don't know, because somebody that buys a cheap plotter isn't going to then turn around and buy an expensive plotter and do a comparison. I guess that might fall on me to try and work that together somehow. Oh, Lord. It's kind of just like whatever you get out of it is whatever you get out of it. So, what's your take on Solar FX? I haven't ever used them. We got a pretty mixed review in the group yesterday. Somebody who's using their vintage series had to use redo a bunch of windshields. That's never good to see. But they're a very popular brand, and a lot of people really like them overall. So I hear good things. I've just never used them. No plotter? We might do it on the back window, but I'm on the fence right now. Not for doors. We're doing ceramic. Ceramic is definitely one of those things where I don't really just want to sacrifice a bunch of film. Pat is using it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. He's been using it for a while. He likes it. On your group? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I had a similar... That issue, like, I was curious what type of film he was using. Thank you.
Swalligang super chatted $4.99. Hey man, I did my first car. I did the quarters on a 98 F150.
Swole.
I cleaned it good, also used clay bar and still got lots of dust specks.
A 90. Well, that's why. Okay, so on a 98 F-150, can you clarify, is it the front quarter windows? Or were they rear quarter windows? Okay, when you're getting into like old vehicles like that, they're just tough. They're tough to keep clean all the way around. There's a couple of like old school tricks. Like some people have been posting about using some Elmer's glue up around like the gasket or whatever I don't know, just up in the top area. Rear quarters. Okay, so that's a little bit different than the front ones. It's not really surprising. Like, I could tint a brand new car and still get dirt in it. Use everything. It's just tinting is one of those things where it takes a lot of trial and error to get it done right. Son of a bitch. Speaking of trial and error, we're like, should be wider. It slid on me. See what I mean? Do you think we can do this? No! Oh, it's so close. Oh, it's so close. I hate the front doors never line up to the back doors. Not like that. Could use it for quarters if I really wanted to. I don't know. Anyways, let's recut those. Speaking about sacrificing it. It was dirty too. Yeah, it's an old vehicle. Old vehicles are just notoriously difficult to even get clean anyways, so don't beat yourself up about it. I mean, you haven't been tinting much at all. So when you want to say like, hey, I had a 98, I mean, there's a chance I'd look at that 98 and I go like, I don't really want to do that anyways. Is that a 40 roll? No, it's a 36. This stuff is a little bit thicker. It's 2 mil. Film waste. Someone suggested, no, they didn't make their own software. I know that much. But yeah, Swole Gang, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. But it's just gonna happen. It's gonna happen a lot. In the beginning, you're gonna get a lot of dirt. You're gonna mess up a lot of windows. It's just part of being a tinter. You can do everything right and then still get a dirty window. And it's like, especially when you're talking about the older vehicles, they're just a chore to do. But I did see this really helpful tip posted in the group. It was basically you take like a bead of Elmer's glue at the top. So if you have like a rubber set window, old window, the front quarters, stuff like that, it just kind of traps all the dirt up top. Because when you're flushing out a quarter window with tons of old shit in it, and you're constantly soaking up here, all that dirt is still raining down. You can clean most of it off, but like then you spray up here and then it all starts falling back down again. So you need to almost create a barrier, keep it dry, in order to get a good result. But hey man, I just threw out ceramic front doors. So it happens to all of us. Like, lots of mistakes all the time. There we go. That's better. I used Glass-Aid tape on it. It was amazing. Oh, I'm glad you like it. I always appreciate the shout out for it. It's funny. Somebody posted in the group the other day. I'm almost done chiming in about it because there's so many people that like every time somebody makes a post about it, there's like new people that find out it's a thing and they're like, "Why are you using white pinstriping?" It's like it's not, but okay. Okay. Because I'm not going to try and justify the use case to people that have no idea about it. And this goes back to all the other Facebook rants that I had earlier. Sun Distributing. Was it Sun Distributing's giving away stuff from Fusion?
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Shut up, Siri. Ooh, that went well. That was nice, I think. Yep. Let's do that a little bit more. They hate on Glassade super hard. Oh, that's fine. Everything I do. There's gonna be that crowd for everything. Believe it or not, though, I actually still scratch the glass when using Glassade. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, so we can go over. Okay, so we'll hand cut the back window. We can have a Glassade refresher. You can definitely cut through Glassade. It's not cut proof. It's cut resistant. So you have to kind of cut on it. You don't just like jam your blade through it and cut through it. But it's supposed to act as a barrier in between you and the glass. So, but I'll go over it a little bit later. Yay. That mirror really didn't get in the way all that much. Some of those look kind of like the glass will go way forward from where you need to cut, and then they just stick the mirror up in the middle of it. So as you're cutting out your top edge, it's like you just bump straight into the mirror. This is like propped up just enough to glide past it without it being a big problem. But this isn't exactly a lot of space. It's much better than, let's say, a Lexus, but it's not the tallest. Where can I get Glassade? A few different places. My Tint stuff. Sorry, Tint stuff. Sun Distributing. Tint Depot. 44 Tools. Dragon. It's in a lot of tint tool shops. How the heck do you cut through Glassade? I've done it. It's not crazy, but it'll happen if like we'll have a little refresher on it. We'll do it on the back window. So we'll hand cut this back window. But I don't really, maybe I should include instructions with it. Same thing for the clay bars. But the way those products just kind of came about was really from the streams. So I just kind of kept them in my own store, and they were more for like people that watch the stream. But they're branching out a little farther from that. They have been for a little while, but you can cut through the glass for being a dumbass. I've done it. Dude, I've made all types of mistakes, and I feel the exact same way. It's just like, how the hell? Okay, so I did a Jeep this morning with Gorilla Glass on it, and I had to redo the windshield once. I mean, it was for a couple of specs that I wasn't happy with. So that wasn't the biggest of deals. Redid it, and then I still felt like a dumbass because there was like a very small hair that I managed to get out. Cool. And then I did the driver's door, and then there was just like it was like perfect. And then I look at the right light, and then you could see like a small scratch at the bottom. And I was like, dude, I suck. Can't even do 2 doors in a freaking windshield this morning. Maybe that's why I sounded angry. We're doing 20%. You're my boy. They don't even know the thickness of Glass Aid. That's like the biggest thing that drives me a little bit crazy. Is like there'll be so many people who are like, why aren't you just using pinstripe? Use this. It's like, okay, you've never touched this stuff. Because it's like, I don't know, what? Like 5 times the thickness of most pinstriping? Pinstriping is really, really thin, and most vinyl only goes up to like 4 mil. Shoot, I even went and bought electrical tape, which is 8 mil, by the way. But electrical tape is really soft, or it doesn't bend around corners very well, and it's also wider. So it was like there's genuinely nothing like it, which is why it's a thing. I was like, just like I go and buy tuck tape. Can you make it so we can hear what you hear for a second? If you remind me when I'm over by the computer, yeah. Some people like to go crazy with TTS. It's not the most enthusiastic voice. I guess that's like mine too then. Have you ever heard of T-View? Yeah, I have. It was one of those brands that came up with Lexan a bunch. People are like, try Lexan, try T-View. And it was just the most popular Amazon films. So that's why we had fun last time. I didn't know you were streaming today. It happens. I don't even know exactly when I'm streaming and when I'm not. It's just kind of, okay, cool. We have this appointment. Oh, sweet. I actually have time to stream. Awesome. Let's do it. Doobie? Can't wait to hear your name on this one.
Doobie 973 super chatted $5.
Doobie 973. Thank you for the 5. I appreciate it. Doobie. How much for this one? It is for ceramic. We're doing $450 for all the sides and the back, and then an extra $50 for the windshield strip.
Daniel Rayner super chatted $9.99. Just called Sun Distributing.
Ooh.
They have a live stream today at 4 o'clock Eastern. Eric from
Hang on.
Tint Wiz will be giving 3 kegs. They will be having giveaways
It's a little
next
far
few
off.
weeks every Tuesday.
Daniel Reyna, thanks for that. I appreciate it. Oh, why did it switch? It should be, I don't know why it does that. Maybe we can fix it. Sun Distributing is having a live stream today at 4. Eric from Tint Wiz will be giving away 3 kegs. They'll be having giveaways for the next few weeks every Tuesday. Ooh. That's at an interesting time from now. I don't know if my stream is quite going to push till then, but maybe we can do something. And then if they're going to do a giveaway. Like, is it an announcement for the giveaway, or is there still time to get in? Because if you guys want to win a keg, I would happily, like, if that's the time to get in. I'm assuming the giveaway entries have already happened, or still can happen up till the giveaway. Hey Siri. Oh, come on, really? Hey Siri. Remind me at 3:30 about the giveaway. I don't know if it did it or not. I'll try and set some type of reminder. How much tint can heat? What? They're announcing the winner of the giveaway? Okay. So people can still go get in on that somehow now. If I tell people, like, hey, you guys can get in on a keg giveaway. We have one pack we are giving away. That one is closed. Eric is going to select 3 people during the stream. Oh, okay. There's a chance. There's a chance today that my stream will come to a close very soon to like when yours. So I'll try and maybe hang on till then. If not, I'll try and remember to drop a link for your stream or for the Facebook page so people can hop in there and maybe win a keg today. That's super cool. Good timing. Can't plan stuff like this. Let's see. Only offer Pro Classic and Pro Nano. Should I add carbon? It's a good question. If you have, okay. So the idea of like a good, a better, and the best is in a lot of different fields, and these films line up perfectly with that. So depending on how you do your pricing, it's good that you're offering at least 2 options. Having a third, though, is a really good value prop. So you won't necessarily have everybody go for your top end, but sometimes people are like, you know, they just, your middle is typically your biggest value prop. So if you want like an all-out thing, that's where ceramic comes in. Your entry level, like your more economy option, which is still should be pretty decent, that's at the low end. And then having something that's kind of like the best bang for your buck, that's where carbon fits in really, really well there. So I think it's a good idea to carry all 3, specifically for that. So some people that are like, well, you know, I just can't stomach the cost of going full Pro Nano, but I would appreciate some heat rejection. That's where carbon is a great value prop. You know, because you're going from carbon to ceramic, you're going from 50% to 75%. So it's a lot like going from like 50% to like the same percentage in window tint. So the equivalent would be like 25. Is like you do notice a difference, but you notice like a substantially bigger difference. Like if you tint your whole car in 50%, it's still pretty light, but getting 50% heat rejection, you still can feel some heat. But then when you, like, it's most impressive to jump to the ceramic though. But yeah, definitely worth it.
Jose78 Rios super chatted $9.99. I give 1 roll off glass aid to my son, didn't believe, and my son told him his time to change to Geo.
Jose, thank you for the 10. I give 1 roll of glass aid to my son. My son didn't believe, and my son told him it's time to change to Geo. I remember he was saying he still carries it for like certain things, but I think Lexan is still his daily. Which, hey, if it's working for you, it's working for you. I'm not gonna fight with him about it. Every shop's different. Thank you for the 10. Couldn't get it to dry shrink properly. What's that? The Lexan? He liked Pro Nano? Oh, okay. There's a big difference. I haven't tried shrinking. I haven't tried shrinking the V Nano. I haven't looked at the V Nano in person. I just carry all the Lifetime stuff. So Pro Nano, man, I got used to shrinking other ceramic films. This is Pro Nano, by the way. I forget that sometimes. This stuff, it shrinks incredibly well. It goes down pretty fast. What? I've never tried dry shrinking Lexan because I'm too lazy to get dryer sheets. What do you use for your clothes? It's a hard argument right there. Gotta use some fabric softener. It's too stiff otherwise. Treat yourself. Okay, that should be good. I know you like Geo, but what would be a good second? Ooh, I don't know. 3M or Avery? Okay, it depends on what you're using. So 3M, I had like their color stable is like kind of blue. I wasn't a big fan of that. Crystalline is just different shrinking, and then they have some other films in there too. So I don't really know what you'd use particularly out of them. But like I tried their FX line, and it was a long time ago. I think it was okay, but then there was just the problems with the other ones. Wow, I'm just terrible right now. Sorry if you guys are wondering what I'm doing. I'm totally out of carpet shield, and the best idea that I had today was probably this one. I had an old liner, and we're just gonna cover up most of the door with this. Not a perfect solution, but this should get us through today. Look at that. I feel better about that. I just didn't want to soak down the door panel, that's all. What time is Sun Distributing stream? 4 p.m. They do have a YouTube channel. So the Facebook and YouTube. All right, this is something about streaming that I've noticed. People generally hang out where other people are hanging out. So that goes with live streaming platforms. So multi-streaming actually just kind of drives more people to like the biggest place that it's happening. So I like watching stuff more on YouTube, but it seems like more people are talking on Facebook, so you might just see more people there. I didn't realize that till much later, but I still stream in a few different places. Anyways, yeah, they have a live stream going on today at 4 p.m. Eastern. So shortly after I'm done, which definitely was not a planned thing. So that's cool. But 3M or Avery, I liked Avery's NR. So if I was only using one film, it would be NR and like nothing else. Oh, we can do this. But as far as 3M, I don't know. I haven't seen their lineup in a little bit. I'm not sure what I would use. We're starting to put up the other chat. That's helpful. I started using 3M Color Stable and FX. I had quality issues. I never had quality issues, but didn't really care about smaller volume installations. I was cost prohibited after a while. Oh yeah, that's like a huge disclaimer. I thought that was kind of like assumed going into like 3M. 3M, Lumar, some of these film brands, like you hear about them a lot, but you're talking like, you guys are interested because they're like some of the most notable film brands. And I get it. I totally get it. But like, you're like just starting out tinting, or you're not tinting a lot of cars. Those are like companies that you want to dive into with a pretty decent established business, or you're going to be knocking some stuff out pretty soon, or you just charge more. You're not going to be a budget shop with any one of those brands. Avery you can be, but 3M, Lumar, and I don't know who else, like Hooper, stuff like that. It's just like you're not going to be a budget brand with one of those film companies. If you are, shooting yourself in the foot. Think one of the most important things is to find a company that supports you. Yes, customer service is huge. And there's a lot of bigger companies that, sorry, they just have a lot of people that are always bugging them. So customer service isn't always going to be the greatest at some of them. Wouldn't use masking machine. Is that with the painter's tape? Painter's tape doesn't stick very well. I wasn't a big fan of it. I like the idea. It's really compact, so you can like throw it in a toolbox. But I had too many times where the painter's tape just fell off. How can I verify that it's nano ceramic? You should feel the difference. But to be honest, there isn't a great way other than that. You can't, kind of drives me a little crazy. There's really not a way to just know. You can't like go up to a car and like tell if it's ceramic or it's not. It's kind of like you had what it was before, and now you drive around with it, and it should feel substantially better, and you should be able to trust the business that they installed it. But that is a thing. Bait and switching boxes is definitely a thing. A lot of tinters get taken advantage of from like budget sites too. They think they buy like legit brands at a discount, but in all actuality, it's just printed boxes. You bought whatever film. Do you get creases where you fold? Yeah, I can get pinch points there, for sure. Depends on how tight the seals are and like how wide they are. So if you have to go really deep into a seal, yeah, there'd probably be a bigger pinch point, but you can take care of them. This is sliding super well right now. Ooh, that edge. I'm very proud of that edge. I hope I don't screw this up. That is like spot on. Offer Avery and Helios. Yes, I'd probably... Helios has your better upgrade options, honestly. That's the thing about Avery. Like, it's fun. Sun Distributing. They carry Avery. Avery had a lot of good potential. They still do, but for whatever reason, they can't get their upper films quite together. So, like, there's been a few actual consumers posts in the Facebook group where they've had Avery ceramic installed, and and there was a lot of haze with it. They were not happy, and they paid good money for those jobs, and that really sucks. Then they get a runaround from a shop. But that's just, so Avery NR, I think, is their best film. But up from there, it's like everything that they put carbon and ceramic into suffered from quality issues like that. Avery has big things coming at the beginning of the year. Why not now? It's hard to turn around. It really is. In a film company, it's like you get one good shot with a film company, and then as soon as they let you down, man, it's hard to just not move to somebody else. That mostly goes for like a catastrophic film failure, or like, you know, when they tell you it's a good film and then you install it and then you have like, it's just not what they said it was. It's really bad. How do you deal with negative reviews on your Google listing? Well, if they fall within the guidelines, you can't get rid of them. So you just type a response and then move on. There's not much you can do about it. I wouldn't dwell on it. Nobody really has like a perfect 5-star review. Like they'll have the obscure whatever. If you're a good company, you'll have far more positive reviews that outweigh any negative ones. And then people overall that are shopping, most anyways, will take those into account. They'll look at the overall. Everybody's got them. Well, that worked out pretty well, huh? This front edge, a little bit, it's not that bad at all, but a little bit tighter than it might seem. I'm glad I took some extra time to round these two. Shrink them up just a little bit more. Normally I'll snap them really quick on the bottom. These ones I spent just a little bit more time with, because I think they're just a little bit longer, a little bit more rounded than they might seem. I don't know. Negative reviews, like, yeah, don't let it get to you. If you have nothing but 5-star perfect reviews anyways, like, seems a little sketchy. Add a little realism to it. Can't make everybody 100% happy all the time. So you can always have that one person, or maybe things just didn't go that well. But that's just how it is. That's how every business is. So do the best you can. Keep on moving. Look at that. You guys don't even need to get carpet shield. Just take a liner, put some tape pieces. I stuck it to the tuck tape though, and I think that was a good call. So what I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to see if I can easily save this and move it over to the back door, because I don't really have a lot of options today. Hopefully I just didn't get it wet though. But this today was basically born out of, hey, I ran out. I got it. I want to do something to cover up the door panel as much as I can. So that worked out pretty well. Got like a couple little water trails. Not bad. What model year of any car would you consider too old to daily drive? It's just, there isn't anything in particular. There's just probably, I don't know. Don't really want to drive like an older, crappy car necessarily, but there's some pretty awesome classic cars that are much older than those. If I was driving an old Ford Taurus, I'd be pretty sad because I just don't like those things. Not the latest model, like the rounded body style one. Yeesh. This looks good. I'm very happy with that one. Let's hope we do that 3 more times. I'd say that one went well enough. I managed to like slice my finger on something on the last car. I have no idea what it was. It was when I was cleaning stuff up. I probably grabbed a razor blade or something. Not fun. What tape is that? Tuck tape. A Miata? Those have personality. I don't know if I've ever, have I tinted one? I've had to have tinted one. Maybe like one though. I don't see those things hardly at all. Oh yeah, I have. I've tinted a couple of them. They're just so tiny though. They're really funny. They got a lot of character. Kind of like a Mini. Their door handles are like slivers. New Camaro back windows. Yeah, we had a live stream on one of those. Managed to take our headset in there and everything. Not fun, especially on a warm day. When you have to do those on a warm day and that back glass is tacking up on you a little bit, you get a bubble in like the worst spot and you're just trying to work it out. And then you can't really peel the film back easily at all, sweep any of that out. So it's really like one shot go with like bulldozer for the bottom half of the whole thing. Not fun. I'm with you on that. It's a shame too, because they'd be such an easy window to do, but they just put so much crap in the way now. Mustang back window? Which one? I wasn't a huge fan of the Fox body one, but that's easier than the doors. But those went through a lot of changes. The latest ones I turn on the defrosters for. Those are probably one of the better ones. Like the 2000s, early 2000s is pretty curved. Big dots at the top. The one past that is pretty nice because they made it flat. GT. Yeah, but what year? Year changes it. They did the GT all the time. Didn't they? Aren't there just like a lot of Mustang GTs? You guys prefer fine grit sandpaper or steel wool? Neither. But if you're gonna use one, I don't even know, man. I hated steel wool. Steel wool was so recommended to me, and every time I did steel wool, there would be like a little piece left behind somewhere, and I would clean the hell out of it. I don't know. No matter what I did, I'd always get a small piece of steel wool left behind. We'd use steel wool. We'd use steel wool for like glue removals, back when we didn't really know what scrub pads to use, I guess, because there was one time. It was great. So my one of my older brother, he actually the only older brother that tints. I remember he was set up for failure. He'd tint at one store, I'd tint at another. This is like earlier years, and my dad saw he was trying to do a backglass redo or removal or something, and then he ran to like a local store, got some Scotch-Brite for him, and then he took it to the back window, and it was just like, it was all scratched up. It was horrible, but he didn't know, so like, hey. No fun. Sometimes you gotta learn the hard way. Sandpaper has never been something I want to use either. I think you get super clean looking results from a fine grit sandpaper. I've seen pictures. I know there's good tinters that are using it. I've had a hard time always just like sandpaper on a window, on a back window. But I get it. So I just haven't used it. Just sit here in the sidelines and make comments about it. I like clay bars, the glass safe scrub pads, and I've never had to do anything more than that. But I don't like trying to take down their defrosters, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'd imagine it'd have to be okay. But on chargers, and all the other defroster offenders, they're definitely thicker, and if you just tint over it, they can look a little bit messy, even with like using a clay bar or something. It'll stick better, but they're just incredibly thick defroster lines. So taking sandpaper, wearing down those lines, they get really hot, and I mean, I'm guessing nothing is to happen from it, but you know, if it kind of makes you cringe a little on the inside, if you've never done it, to then go and try and do that on stream, it's just, I don't know. What I've been doing hasn't been a problem or anything, and I feel like it's just a little safer seeming, so that's why I haven't done it. Talked to Tint Depot last night on the phone. Gonna get a Workhorse 2 and film cut. You're leapfrogging me, man. Dude, they've sent me a bunch of messages about the Workhorse 2, and it's like, well, why do I have a Workhorse 1, man? I just got it. What am I supposed to do with this information? But they're very happy about the Workhorse 2, so I'm assuming you should be too. It was just like, it's like getting a brand new PC, graphics card, anything. I don't know. Getting something brand new, and then the next model comes out. I guess a car, right? It's like when 888. No, we're streaming. That's not a client. Be kind of funny if it was. Ooh. It's like that iPhone you just got and it's already outdated. Yeah. Yeah, at least at least that I stay in touch with. The Plotters is like, here's the Workhorse 1. Get it. Workhorse 2 comes out a week later. Like, you can't just go in the store and swap it out or just ship it back. FedEx destroyed the box on the way here. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Is 50% noticeable at night? And if so, how bad? I'm used to driving with it, so it's not really noticeable for me, but it will be for like the first little bit. But that's like a pretty big disclaimer. 50% is great. It's like super light, easy to see out of. Pretty much with any type of headlights, you'll be fine. If you have a newer vehicle with like bright white headlights, you'll especially be fine. That's my disclaimer for like going down to 35. If you have like the older yellowy headlights, you're not going to... Oh, that's interesting. We might follow up with that in a second. But so 50%, I did that on the, no, I did 35. 50% is what I have outside on my Blazer. I think it's safer if you're gonna have family drive it and stuff like that, if it's not just gonna be you. 35% I really liked, but it definitely stands out a lot. And there's certain conditions where it'll be a little bit more sketchy to drive with. Like if it's just like hurricane rain, right? And whatever else. It's like, it's a little sketchy. So I'll typically recommend 50 over it, but hey. Someone needs to make a monthly tool package. I'm tired of ordering new tools per month. Sun Distributing hangs out in the chat. They'd probably do that. I didn't know if there'd be enough people interested in that. Because it's like you kind of need different tools. So like reordering the same tools all the time, I mean, if you know you're going to wear through particular ones, yeah, you're right. It would be really helpful. I always order things too late, but I just don't know how often I'll need them, which is why I don't put it on like monthlies. But I bet you Sun Distributing would probably do something like that. What type of bulb do you recommend for a smoked headlight? Oh, just whatever bright. What's the latest? LED? Just get bright LED headlights. If you're going to put anything over your headlights. A lot of those tints will let a lot of light through anyways. That's kind of what they're made for. But yeah, you're going to, instead of like just the dingy yellow ones, just get some bright white LED ones. Halogens aren't as much of a thing anymore, are they? So many ballast problems with those. It's hard to figure out the timeline of ordering. Yeah, like frequency. Like how often do you need these tools? And what ones are you going to need regularly? I mean, might just be simple enough to go, like somebody, like at least in the beginning, maybe somebody sets up an order that they intend to reorder monthly or every other month, and then there's just an option to purchase that stuff every month. Whoops. Where do you get the clear masking for the door panel? This is actually off a roll of film. This is just the liner that I tape back up here. So normally I'll use carpet shield, but I ran out. But this isn't a half bad option right now. I mean, we made it through 3 doors already. It's not quite as sealed, but it is getting the job done. I just would feel really bad because he's got like carpet inserts there. Normally water would just run straight down to it and just soak those, and like they'll dry out fine, and just don't want to leave it going damp. Kind of annoying. Oh, have you guys ever tinted an older car? And it's got like tan fabric inserts, and they're just super dirty. And then when you tint and water runs down, it just washes all that dirt halfway down the insert. And then when it dries out, there's just all these like horrific dirt lines, but they came from a clean place. Oh, those are bad. I hated when that happened. So all that water's gonna go down here, and if this was all like evenly dirty, that water would like drip that dirt down. It'd be terrible. '79 Lincoln, yep. Sprayed taillights or sprayed headlights versus wrapped. You know, I've seen somebody do an amazing job with sprayed headlights. With the VHT, believe it or not. I was just completely floored. I was like, there's no way. And he's like, no, I do it all the time. It's like, all right, let's see it. And then he showed me. He warmed up the can with like a heat gun. This is like middle of winter. He left a heat gun a few feet away from a can, generally warmed up the can, cleaned the surface of the lights, had the lights off of the vehicle or something like that, I think, or just masked it really well. Dude, looks super clean. And then a cool thing on top of that, it's messy to remove. Yeah, you can actually do it with lacquer thinner. Because we had a job for, this is a shout out to James, what is it, Auto Tint Way. He's the guy that did that. What was it? We used to work together for a little while, and we had a car for the auto show, which was, it was just like a little smart car. They wanted to do the full windshield, headlights, taillights, just tint the whole thing crazy. And so we sprayed the headlights, but they wanted to remove it after the fact, and I said, well, when it's sprayed, that's it. You're going to have to replace them. And he's like, no. And then they brought it back after the show. He took lacquer thinner and just it wiped right off like ink. And I was like, no fucking way. WD-40 will take it off too? Oh, that's cool. I just had no idea, and it didn't damage anything. It was super clean. I don't know if that'll be the case with all of them, but just saw it in person, super clean, looked good, was thoroughly impressed. Didn't think nightshades or any of that would turn out so well, but it did. Don't know how long it'll last though, but it is an option. I think something that's going to protect your lights though, something like Lux or wrapping them is going to add a little bit more protection than just putting a spray on it. I had my tail or my headlights sprayed. Like another thing that some people do is they'll put black and mix clear together and get a smoked look, but on the headlights it chipped. So not recommended for headlights. Taillights, yes. Headlights, not so much. Get a better result from wrapping them. I don't know if I said that or I mentioned that comment already, but I definitely believe you if you do it that way. I mean, wrapping headlights and taillights is definitely a big thing. What I haven't liked about I was on the fence for a long time of whether or not I should do it, and I think I could get the hang of it. I just don't like how complicated a lot of headlights are, so I just haven't been doing it. Are touchless washes safe to do on a car with a single stage paint job? I have no idea. I'm not a paint guy. I mean, I'm assuming touchless is about as safe as you could be, so you probably want to clean it somehow like that. Ooh, that's not good. You don't like wrapping because you can't do it. It's not really... Even if I'm familiar with it enough, but yeah, I never specialized in it, so definitely not going to be as good as somebody that just does it. It's like the taillights and the headlights, I definitely like them, but I wouldn't like doing it because, yeah, I'm not going to sit there and try and figure it out and then just not be able to do one of them. If that makes sense. I've messed around it enough to know that it doesn't really fit very well into my business, I guess. It's just kind of like an infrequent thing here. Some people get it, but what I have to charge to do them is generally outside of what the average person just shopping around from them wants to pay anyways. So this skill level that's involved, I think, to do them right versus what is in my natural workflow, I guess, is the best way I can describe that. So it doesn't, if you already wrap vehicles, it makes all the sense in the world for you to do headlights and taillights. Tinting, though, adding it to your services, it's like if I'm going to wrap headlights and taillights, I might as well start wrapping more things, and I'm just not going to. So kind of like learning so much about wrapping and then choosing not to do it. And for what? Like, I'd get another car in there. So, just haven't done it. Interesting topic, though. Oh, my tape fell off. I guess. No. Not both. Oh, it all fell off. Damn. What do we do now? What happens when it's all wet and we have one more door to do? Oh, we were so close. Maybe it'll just kind of cling here because it's damp. And then we can get some tape here. Ooh, look, that's actually working. Who knew? Put it in a dryer. Do you use lint-free rags? No, I use the Costco ones. I don't think you really need lint-free, but I don't know. I like them to be soft and absorb enough water. So, but the Dry Me a River ones from the rag company, I think, are really, really good. So, I don't think those things, are they technically lint-free? Those things might leave less behind, but doesn't really impact the job. I don't know what Costco is. Oh, you're not from here then. What time is it? 3? Oh, yeah. I think we'll be pretty good. We actually might run over 4 o'clock. Yeah, Costco's not that international. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you as far as rags go for international. There's a company here called the Rag Company, though, that puts out really good ones, too, as well. Costco's a big, like, wholesale warehouse. It's funny to have to explain. And they usually carry something in most categories. And microfiber rags, they're, like, good enough. Like, they're pretty good for the money. You save a little bit of money overall when you buy a bunch more. Bulk discounts, stuff like that. I installed Pro Nano on a BMW about 7 weeks ago. It was perfect. Now it's peeling at the bottom. My fault? Yes, unfortunately. It's happened to me. The bottom edge of the film, it wasn't quite locked down. Or like if it was from a corner or something like that, your bottom edge wasn't completely locked down all the way. It's unfortunately installation. So it does happen to me sometimes too, though, where I'll install it, I'll make sure everything's locked down, and it'll maybe a little bit high up with a double seal or something, and then it'll just, especially when you're getting into colder weather, sometimes it just like flips up a little bit, catches the wrong thing. So tuck it a little farther down, or be a little extra careful on your shrinking, and give it a little bit of dry time before you deliver the vehicle. Just give some good swipes at the bottom if it's been sitting for a little bit. Yeah, that's bubbling, peeling, fading, warranties. That's not something that, like, somebody's going to get their car back. They're going to roll their windows up and down. They got to be able to use their car. Computer share. Oh, that's referring to the GameStop thing, which is still going on. Nice, by the way. I haven't done it. I've just been sitting on it for a while. I haven't even talked about it. It's just been doing a lot of sideways for quite a while, so it's just been not even worth mentioning. I'm sure there's a lot of people at this point that's like has no idea or like surprised. Like, oh, that's still a thing? Hey! Sit for a sec. It keeps walking on me.
Pablo super chatted $5.86.
Pablo with the 5. Thank you. They did send. Wish me luck to do my first real customer tomorrow. Mercedes E-Class Coupe 2011. Woo! Good luck, man. Take your time. Don't stress. And hope it all goes well. That's sweet. Matt turning into a lurker. Oh, I've been that way for a while. You don't tell them to not roll their windows down for 5 days? No, I tell them not to roll their windows down for a couple days because just that's always been a thing. But it's one of those things where it's advised to leave the windows up. If you install everything right, most vehicles you can roll down immediately and you'll be totally fine. I still tape the switches for them. And give that disclaimer. There's water in between the film and the glass that's still drying. So basically, whenever I hand keys back to a customer, deliver a vehicle, there's a few things that I tell them. First, you're gonna notice moisture in between the film and the glass. You might say bubbles. It's little water blisters. Water just condenses together as it's drying out. Totally normal. Don't freak out. Give it some time to dry. It can take up to a full week. Anything past that, up to a full week, like in the wintertime. Anything, and like if you happen to have like a much bigger water pocket, that also can take a dumb amount of time to dry out. But if there's anything that hasn't dried out in like a week's time that you're unhappy with, let me know. Because at that point, like within a day or two in warm weather, everything should be gone. When you're getting into fall and winter time, that usually goes to like, you know, cooler weather, 4 or 5 days. Winter time, tell them up to a week. Because anything more than that to me is just a nuisance. It's like if I gotta wait past a week to roll my windows up and down, like like if you were to tell them like a month, it'd be like, wait, what? Can we speed that up a little bit? Because like drive through, the bank, I don't know, life. It would really suck. So up to a week, everything should be fine. Anything past that, let me know. And give it a little time to dry out. That's all. That and no ammonia glass cleaners. That's a typical one. They can use any glass cleaner brand that they like. Just make sure it says ammonia free on the bottle or tint safe. And then even if drive-through bank is a thing, yes. I can't talk about like anything. What's Costco? Drive-through bank? I mean, most of it's done mobile, but if you actually need to run like cash to the bank or something, yeah, drive-through's been a thing for years here. What's your opinion on Suntec? I don't know. I haven't tried them in a while. If I'm gonna get Suntech, I'm probably just gonna go get Lumar. I don't know how much of a pricing difference there is though, but they're owned by like the same company. I don't know. I'm happy with Geo though, so. Our bank here doesn't even have cash. Isn't that kind of like the point of a bank? So you can like go get cash if you need it? What's the point? You give them cash, but they can't give it back? How do you get the tint to slide easier on tight seals? Generally, the answer to that is more soap. And also make sure your film is flat against the glass when you're tucking it into the seal. So if you have a bunch of, like, if it's all bunched up towards the side, when I'm here, I'm tucking in the film this way, and then I tuck it in this way. This edge here that's sliding into the seal needs to be flat against the glass as you're pushing it in there. If it's rolled or crumpled or whatever, it's gonna be a nightmare. It's not gonna go well. Don't forget about your sun strip. Thank you. The bank here doesn't carry cash and doesn't accept cash. What is the point of the bank? Okay, so I had a bank here that, man, banking hours were like, they would close at 4 o'clock on weekdays, and they would close at 1 o'clock on the weekend. I would work till 5 or 6 o'clock on weekdays until 2 o'clock on a Saturday. They were just always closed when I needed to swing by, so I left. Because, like, what's the point? Now things are a little bit more different, where you can just deposit checks and stuff through your phone. But, like, man, I never understood those banking hours at all. It's like, okay, so what's the point of even being open? You open later, too, so I can't even go there extra early. You're just inconvenience. Inconvenience in a nutshell. Nine to 1900 hours? Oh, I don't know, 24 hours. I gotta do math for that. I know 9. But 19? Come on now. What's 19 minus 12? Are kegs worth it? I think so. I've been running a keg before Tint Keg even made them. It's the pinnacle of spray convenience. There we go. It's a complete opposite from a bank. So with a keg, you dump all your water in it, you pressurize it. It'll last you through an entire day, if not longer. You generally want to clean it out though, before like 2 or 3 days. But I'm just saying, it's just, you don't have to sit there and pump it up. You don't have to, and it's literally something you're going to use on absolutely every car, and they're never going to break. I mean, they can break. Plastic sprayers, I'd suggest a brass one, but it's just like they're like they're workhorses. You just use it all the time on everything, like a heat gun. But they're super nice, cause like, man, if you use a keg and then go back to like the little poly tube pump sprayers and stuff like that, it's just work. It's like, I don't want to do this. Have you tried a fan tip? I have, and I didn't do them justice. I need to try them again. The fan tips they're really good. You can't like turn it into a laser beam and shoot it to like, you know, if there's something on like a back window or whatever they're trying to flush out. It's kind of hard to do that with a fan tip. Or if I'm two-staging, it's a little harder to shoot water up here. But they're generally good all-around sprayers. I ruined mine by accident very quickly. Okay, I think I said I was going to do a refresher on glass aid. So when you're cutting on glass, you want to keep a very low angle, and you put out extra blade to kind of do that, and you don't have to press very hard. I've found for cutting on glass aid, what generally works better is keeping your blade up a little bit higher, and you almost feel like you're digging into the glass aid a little bit. Because if you don't, what the alternative is, like, if you keep it a really low angle and cut about as soft as you do on regular glass, you cut like half through the tint. And it depends on the film brand that you're using. So generally what you'll see me knock the blade up a little bit more. I'll dig that little edge into the glass aid a little bit, and I'll just trail that around. And if you cut all the way through the glass, you'd be able to feel like some scraping or something. So that's messed around with a bunch of different cutting options, and it did seem like certain films cut easier than others. Everyone's constructed like a little bit differently. This took a little bit of getting used to. It's not one-to-one, just like glass is. I wish it was. I wish it didn't dull out a blade still. It does. So, see how that is right there? That's how I cut on it. So, if I were to switch to regular glass, I'd have it a lot closer. So, I also, where do I place it? I put my blade right in the center. That's personal preference. What I like to do is line the glass aid up. The inside edge of glass aid is basically touching where the dots end. So this is a 1/4 inch wide, and glass aid if you cut here, you're giving it about an 1/8 inch overlap. But if the glass aid is always just a little on the outside, like here we trailed off a little bit farther, it's not perfect, it's a little better here. But we have a lot of tolerance on the inside. The main thing is to give yourself a little border around the whole window. So that's what I like to do. If I cut inside on the glass aid at that point, like if I'm just kind of speeding through and my knife slips to the inside, then I've probably created a light gap of some kind. Anything on the glass aid or over means that there's not going to be a light gap. So, and then we peel it, and sometimes it'll separate from itself, but what I like to shoot for is, if I do it right, it basically has not separated at all, but if you wanted to, you could kind of like tear it apart from itself, like that. That's, in my opinion, where I've done a perfect job of it. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes it, like, you've probably seen a lot on streams where I'll just start peeling it and they'll separate from each other. Generally just goes with how careful I am or not, but it's keeping it off the glass. That's the point. If you cut on pinstriping or anything else, yeah, you're creating a little buffer there. It's a white line, so it's very easy to see. That's really nice. But it's not going to be quite as safe. So that part is up to you. Okay, where's my towel? Yeah, these headrests, they don't come out. Oh, that's kind of a tall brake light. I don't think it's bad. That's a little tall. I wish I could take those out, but I can't. So, brake light like this, it's all molded into the deck, so we definitely have to use like a bulldozer, and we're probably also going to use the tail fin or something like that. What, did they not put any speakers back here either? It's all just like baby clamps. Interesting. Can you tint home windows to reduce heat? Yeah, absolutely. You're just going to want to use house tint rather than automotive. With home windows, you're going to be using more like mirrored films than just like, don't use auto. On sun-facing windows, if you just put auto on it, they can cause your home windows to crack. Absorbs too much heat. You want to reflect as much heat as you can away from it. So there's films that are made to like have a mirrored like effect, but not necessarily look like a mirror. And then there's ones that definitely look like a mirror. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can pick for houses. I know we said them a lot, but Sun Distributing, they have architectural foam. You can check them out. See, that's where a company like Avery makes a little bit more sense, because they've been architectural manufacturers for a long time. That's a field I forget about a lot, because I'm like strictly auto, but flat is a huge business, and suppliers like Avery are much more geared for that than auto, which is probably why they didn't care enough about auto. Mostly tint windows from the outside of the architectural. I guess it depends on the building. There's both. There's inside, there's outside. And they're made different. So that's a good distinction too. Where's the mean green? There it is. So window film has UV inhibitors on it to protect like the glue, to protect the polyester and everything. So exterior film has the UV inhibitors on one side, and interior film has UV inhibitors on the other side. Which is also why I guess window tint is naturally like UV protective, because if they didn't have it, it'd turn purple really fast. Can you explain your technique on grabbing the tint off the back window when getting ready to install? Been doing reverse rolling. Sure. Sure, I'll do the best I can. It's kind of messy. It's kind of messy to explain. It is definitely tricky to get the hang of if you're used to reverse rolling. I tried teaching people both, and it was much easier to teach somebody how to reverse roll versus doing what I do, but I learned this way because nobody was doing reverse rolling. I learned that much later on, and I was really surprised. I was like, oh. So I love it for windshields, not so much for back windows. So we're gonna, I don't know, Frankenstein, zombie, Superman, whatever you want to call it. We'll do that. We'll go over that in a little bit more detail. There's one guy I used to work with for a little bit who used to throw it up in the air like a pizza and catch it. I still can't do that. I haven't really practiced doing that, which is why I still can't do it. But it was pretty amazing. He would literally like, whoosh. Okay, so peeling this. This is gonna go much faster than reverse rolling, which is also why I like doing things this way too, if you just wanna save a lot of time. But back windows are stubbier than full windshield, so it's easier to do this on a back window than a windshield. So just peel the whole thing, spray it, then I'll take my thumb, and wow, we managed to get the liner off, but this is like hard fixed. Okay, so get that corner off the glass, pick it up a little bit, and then I'll grab it right in the center, just the tippy end of it, and then I'll pick it up off the window, still pinched it, and then I'll just pull it from the center with my left hand, and then I'll catch it with my right, and then drape it. So it's literally just completely draped like that, and then I'll take my other arm, because it's just out here, underneath in the same spot, and then ba-bam. There you go. Now, if you need to walk this up your arms a little bit, it depends on the size of the back window. So you just carry it in, avoid all the seats, do the little tint limbo, spread your arms back out, and then if you need to get this farther up your arms, just use your mouth. Just literally, and then pull it back. This one is pretty good where it's at. So put it about as far down on the back window as you can. Get that whole bottom edge to lay flush. This is a hard part to see, but the whole bottom edge is flush against the bottom of the back window, and then I can start sliding it down. Slide it down, roll some film up on the glass, not against the headliner. See that gap? Then roll some more film down. You have to kind of go quick though, because the longer you sit here, the more that's just gonna tack up to the window. So I'd love to sit here and show you on the outside and the inside, but it's gonna be sitting too long. So get it in place as best you can. And once you make sure all your gaps are covered, then you can squeegee it out. So from most of that is pretty similar to like reverse rolling towards the end, like you're just lining it up, getting in place, squeegeeing it out. But yeah, that first bit, carrying it off the back window, Something that helps me a lot is always using the same side. So every back window that I carry in, I always do it from the passenger side. And when I carried in full windshields before I reverse rolled, to keep the same hand motions, I did the driver's side because it's mirrored. If I go to the passenger side, if I go to the driver's side and try and pick the film up off the glass, I'm super clumsy with it. It's like I never did it before. You get used to doing things one way, and unless you bounce back and forth between both sides, but you don't need to. So keep that in mind. Always use the same sides. It'll make learning a lot easier. Same hand motions, same everything, until you get it down, and then, I don't know, if you really feel like hopping back and forth and knock yourself out, but there's no reason to. And then if we squeegeed everything out, we should be good. Somebody said, I tried tinting, or I tinted Crown Vic, had no problems except for the back windshield. Tint wouldn't stick to the defrosters. Did it have like air pockets bubbling up on you? Crown Vics are pretty curved windows. If you had defroster issues, turn the car on before you install the film. Turn on the defrosters, let it heat up for a little bit, and try installing it that way. I've had like a few things pop up on those, but usually they're towards the top, and it's something you can take care of with not too much effort, but if the whole thing did it, that's no fun. Don't forget the strip. Thank you. Probably still gonna need a reminder. I got quarter windows to do, and then I'll be like, all right, guys, thanks for watching. And I'll be like, what about the strip? I've delivered quite a few cars. Not from here, thankfully, but elsewhere, and then forgot that it was getting a windshield strip. That's never a good thing. Because then you're like in the middle of something else, you leave. And then they're like, windshield strip. And you're like, ah. Looking, I'd say pretty good. Oh, yeah. That's nice. How about when they call it a brow? Visor, brow. There's like, just like carrying in a windshield, like the Frankenstein. It's like, I almost try to not call it that because it's just like, wait, what? And like, why are fingers called fingers? Like, I mean, they look like fingers, sure, but like they could be called spikes or something. I don't know. It's just some of the terms are really weird. But on windshields, like everybody's got like 50 different things that they call them. Eyebrow, unibrow, sun strip, sunshade, visor. I got another police car to do. It has bars on the back. You need those removed. Tell them to take them off. Either you do it or they do it. I know exactly what you're talking about. On a lot of those, the screws sometimes can be pretty accessible to remove, but yeah, if you just had like a police car drop off or something like that, you either have to take care of it or let them know that they need to be removed ahead of time. Sorry. Unless you can squiggle the film in one of those little crossbar holes, but they're meant to keep people from breaking out, so yeah, you're gonna want to have those removed. Same thing with like work fans. Some work fans have like reinforcements and stuff so people don't break in. All that needs to be removed. Certain visors should be removed. Not a lot of stuff really needs to be removed, but there's definitely, like, if you had a roll cage, you can't remove that, but it would make it a big pain to try and tint. Is this the 2022? You know, I'm not sure. Can we call it that? If people are unsure, can we call it that? Because it says, all right, it says on the sticker, and I guess it's not 22 yet, so, you know, it can't be. It's 9/21. That's got to be 22 then, because it literally couldn't be made any sooner. So yeah, this would be the 2022. Ooh, we're going to change the title. Canon. I'm glad you asked that. We're going to change it right now. Save. All right, cool. I recently had a Dodge Neon that had a roll cage. A Neon is not even a super fun thing to even tint, so I imagine a roll cage would be terrible. Yes, it's a 2022. Thank you. I don't know why. I had like just a brain fart about it. It's like, wait, what else? What would then designate a 2022? The year changeovers always confuse me because they, like, a lot of times they keep pushing those up earlier and earlier. And it's like, we're releasing the 2022s in January. And it's like, I don't know about that. But nice try. So when you're cutting on a plotter and you get something that says 9/21 on it, that's where it's always like, it could be this one, it could be that one. I believe every car after June is the next model year. For everybody, though, like I said, like that got pushed back. It kept changing over and over. It's marketing. It's all marketing. We'll give you the 2040 model tomorrow. Although it makes you feel extra special because when you buy a right now, if you buy a 2022 model, then your car doesn't even feel like it's old until like the end of next year when it becomes like a year old. It's like my car isn't even current yet. It's so new. You get like an extra 6 months on that thing. That's fantastic. All right, do we put our clay bar anywhere? There it is. But then once it catches up with you, then you're like, oh, well, I guess they got to drive a car like everybody else does. Yeah, where's the clay bar? Yeah, so far everything about this, I'd say that brake light and the front doors are going to be the biggest obstacles, but really not bad at all. I think I still got the Facebook window open. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Just a obscure bong. How many cars do you get from Glassade roll? It's 100 feet, so you get about, averages out to about 10-ish per roll. I tried to make it about as economical as I could. It is a very unique thing. So the fact that it's actually, like you can buy 3M fine line for like $15 a roll. This stuff, I sell it as low as, what is it? Like 6? 7, like $6.99, I think, in like a 10-pack now. Logistics are not fun. I need to figure out how much I'm spending on carpet shield too. I like unintentionally got into a lot of disposable things. Just because they worked really well. But they're definitely adding up. Some more green solutions might be better. Better on the wallet. I don't know. I gotta double check. I forgot. I think it starts at $7.99 now a roll and goes down as low as like $6.99. $3.30. Oh, if we didn't have a windshield strip, we'd probably be right on time for Sun Distributing's live stream. I don't know. We got a half an hour. I think we'll be pretty close. Maybe it'll be close enough for them to start, and then we can pull it up on screen, and we can maybe raid them or something. I don't know. We can do a YouTube raid. Ever review Moto Shield Pro? I might have to rebuy it. I'm annoyed because I bought it. It came in a very pretty small box. And then I'm not sure where it is right now. But I was going to do a video checking it out. Because they actually commented on my Walmart video. And they were like, we have better heat rejection. And I was like, I looked at their listing, and it's like 99% IR. And it's like, oh, boy. Here we go. They put a lot more into their packaging, though, which is kind of interesting. You typically don't see that. But it also makes me wonder. It's like you either get, like, bare minimum, which is like a roll in a cardboard box, like a unprinted cardboard box or something, just like an Amazon box when you order it there. Or like Moto Shield. This is like this very nice packaging. It makes you feel all pretty when you open it up. They get points for branding. But if it's only popular on Amazon, that's usually a big red flag. Do you install PPF? I don't anymore. I have done it, though. I've done probably about 20 to 25 front ends, and then mixed in like a full car and some extra stuff in there as well. So I've got a decent amount of experience, but I wouldn't say I'm a great PPF installer by any means. I'm familiar enough with like the process. And is it difficult? Yeah, it's really tedious. Just like window tinting is. But in a different way. There's like, so if a car rolls up with window tint and has like 1,000 miles on it, it's no big deal. You can have a car from like years ago, and you can still put out a good tint job on it. There's just one dinky little speck right here on the edge. Ooh, there it goes. It's just a little bigger. But if you have a car with 1,000 miles for paint protection film, they better go get that thing repainted. Not completely true. If you're good at detailing, like, and you can like refinish a bumper and stuff like that, you'll be much better off. But that thing, 1,000 miles untreated, it'll just be pitted. Especially with these rows. And it'll show. Paint protection film is one of those things that is just more expensive to get done. It's a lot more time consuming. And it was just a much harder sell. So I was at my dad's shop, and he was trying to get into paint protection film. And we did window tinting, we did auto accessories, and we're breaking into paint protection film because it really does. It makes very good money if it's done right. It also can be a huge pain if it's not done right. So we had a plotter at the time, and we could cut out basically anything that we wanted. But there were, whatever software we were using at the time, there were definitely some problems with patterns. And then we had random problems with like the plotter. For the life of me, even techs couldn't help me figure this out. It wouldn't roll straight. I would put the PPF all the way through, and I would back it off and put it back through. But as soon as that cut head starts to work its magic on it, over time, it would like fall off track, and then it would start doing like, it would go all over the place. So we would start ordering our kits, and if you didn't, working with a shop trying to order kits, man, they didn't make it fun at all. So, guy books a PPF job. Whoever sold it is stoked that he sold, like not multiple thousands, like $4,000 or $5,000 PPF job for like front bumper, half hood, fenders, mirrors, stuff like that. I don't know. It ranged all over the place, but they would sell it for something like that. It would happen every once in a while. They were super stoked about it, and then I would say, okay, cool. What vehicle is it? And they would tell me, and I'm like, all right, what model? And they're like, I don't remember. And I'm like, you need to go find that out, because when they start putting different trim on all the different models, so all of a sudden all those little differences make a big deal. So they would call the customer, they would get pictures. Sometimes they couldn't get a hold of them. So it would be sometimes a couple days. I'd forget about it. The car would be then dropped off, and then we wouldn't have patterns. And they'd tell the guy that it'd be delivered in like 3 or 4 days. And it's like, okay, now we need 3 or 4 days to just get the patterns here. So then they finally get the patterns. Okay, cool, I got them. And it would on average take me about a full day of work to do, and then touch-ups the next day. So by that time, the customer is already kind of itching to take it, and they would shoot me back and forth between paint protection film and window tint. So I didn't even have time to focus on it. So it was like a full day. I'd work on some of it, get sent over to do window tint, come back. It's just not fun. Not fun at all. So if you're gonna do it, I kind of suggest like specializing in it. There's definitely, it's good to like know the different film skills, but there's something to be said about just specializing in one thing. You know it inside and out. You can be much more efficient with it. You can run things the way you want. And in the end, bouncing back and forth between multiple things, it's kind of not really going to make you a lot more money. It's just going to give you a lot more things to do, and you'll have similar profits at the end. Also, PPF, people can be very particular with PPF, just like window tint. So like, what's the worst that can happen with window tint? I have to redo a windshield, and that's no fun, but I can redo that in a couple of hours. Paint protection film, you sometimes have to redo a full bumper. Like, it wasn't seamed anywhere. You can't hide those with paint protection film either. It's just like, you have to redo literally the whole front of the car. Bumpers are the worst. Hoods, not that hard. I mean, they do get hard, but like on this one, for example, hood, super easy. Look, it even stops here. Front bumper is here. This is actually one separate piece, so that's nice. That would only be one thing. You have some compound curves here. Not too bad. I don't know how far under. Sometimes they'll flip it under entirely, and like so you have to like wrap around this edge. They probably would. For here, pretty straightforward. Actually, this one doesn't look too terrible. They split it up in a bunch of different ways. Some bumpers are just, they're all connected in all the ways. So you have this giant puzzle piece that you have to line up. So your margin for mistakes are like, ugh. And you could have like some speckles, or, you know, car was driving around, you had a rainy day, low miles, but it got peppered on the way in to get paint protection film. It's just all gritty, and that grit builds up in all the not seals, but all the cracks and curves and stuff. So like as you're flexing that bumper, like flushing it out, more dirt is constantly like running out as you're working on it. It's just, it's hard to keep clean on older cars. Yeah, not fun. So I had a little formal training with it. We were using Lumar at the time. Our rep was really good, and my dad would bug them a lot. So 44 Tools, they used to be a Lumar distributor, and we had really good reps through them. And their rep at the time knew how to do paint protection film and window tint. So he was a great resource. We'd call him all the time. And he'd be like, can you let me do my job? But they ended up sending him out, and he taught us how to do paint protection film for like a couple of days. That was really helpful. But in the end, I don't know how much better paint protection film is long term. I'm assuming it's much better, but man, Lumar paint protection film at the time, we left it on for like a year. Shit would scratch so easily, and then it would yellow. So like, it would look like the car is yellowing. So you have a white car, paint protection film on like half the hood, and then it looked like the paint protection film would like kind of yellow, and it would discolor the whole front end, and you peel it off, and then all of a sudden you'd realize this part of the paint was perfectly protected from the sun, this part of the paint wasn't, and then there'd be a discolor difference between like a half hood. Not great. So it wasn't self-healing at the time either. I know that's much more of a thing now, so I'm not as familiar with like current paint protection films, but you know, I hear good things anyways. It's kind of my long PPF history there. Not the most familiar with it all, but I've definitely like, out of what I played around with, there's a lot of guys that really like XPEL, and they probably have made their product a lot better. At the time, their glue, with the way I was installing it, wasn't super user-friendly. So their glue would tear pretty easily. Whereas something like Lumar was super user-friendly. It was just pretty thick. It was like an 8mm. I got my hands on some Suntec paint protection film for a little bit. That was, I think, before they were owned by or bought by Eastman. That stuff, being a little bit thinner, was way more user-friendly. I don't think paint protection film needs to be like 8mm. Was it, who was it? Oh, was it Mike? Yeah, it was. Mike was awesome. He was the best company rep, I think. I mean, I work with great people now, but when I was just mainly an installer for a shop, dude, I can't say enough good things. We bugged the hell out of him, and he was a trooper through all of it. When I received my, quick question, off topic from people, I received my order, Pro Classic, which way does the film go? I don't know a better way to explain it, but my mentor said it's backward from other films. Geo is not, Lumar's backwards, so what were you using beforehand? I think that's actually a great question. You know what I should have done? I should have done this half-half and then just split it differently. I wasn't sure if I was going to go below that middle, though, so that's why we got a giant 24-inch piece on this. I just got to fix it real quick. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this whole thing like a sun strip, and then I'm going to split it in half again, and we're gonna like tweak it just a little bit to just help straighten it out a little bit more. So when you get a roll of Geo and a lot of other, when you get, what? Expel, Matico, Lumar, some go on the plotter one way and some go on the opposite way. Okay, so you're familiar with Lumar. Lumar is backwards from most people. So if you're more familiar with them, then they're opposite of everybody. But if you started with like Lumar and then went to Geo, so the liner is basically protecting the whole roll of film, where with Lumar, the film is the exposed side. It makes it really good for cutting on a machine. But when you're driving around from shop to shop and your roll's doing this, bouncing around in the box, if you don't have it on the rollers or anything, you're gonna scuff up quite a bit of film having it rolled like that. But Lumar is like, they've always been different. I don't know why. All right. So this isn't quite the perfect contoured windshield strip, but this is like my little cheat for it, where you can bow it just a little bit off center, where it'll look straighter, but it's not the perfect way to get that contour. But I don't think I have it on the plotter, so we're just gonna be putting it about where we think looks good. Something that's not too far down. I want to put it at the bottom of this tab, but maybe we can. Maybe we can. Let me see. I just don't want it to come too far down. He said he wanted it at the bottom, but I don't want to have a nightmare driving thing here. That's a little low. I don't know. I kind of like it, though. I drive with it like that. So I guess if I drive with it like that, use the top edge to cut the contour. It works on some. I haven't gotten that to work on the ones that I've tried it on, though, so I haven't done it that way. It might work out okay on this one. But, like, I've tried it on, like, a 300 and stuff like that. This is, like, a while ago. And then you have ones like Kia that has, like, this little, like, notch. So you wouldn't be able to do it on that one either. Okay. I'm torn. I feel like I want to raise this up just a little bit to be on the safer side, but he also wanted it like lower, just didn't want it to go like too low. I think I'll leave it. I think I'll do it here. It looks better. It's be pretty good to drive with. We're gonna leave it like this. It'll be okay to drive with, but if he doesn't like it, I'll redo it. I'll move it. I just think this looks better. I always go on the side of caution, but I think on this one, we're gonna put what I would rather drive with in this case, which is still really acceptable. But if it's too much, it's okay. I think. And then I sit here and I'm like, you know what? That's pretty low. All right, never mind. I'm changed my mind. We're gonna go up higher. That's too far down on the driver's side. Personally, I like the curved strip. Some people do, some people don't. Sometimes these centers go a little bit, or these, I don't know what you call them. The mirror setups with all the dots. Sometimes they're actually a little bit off center too. So you'll line it up for that, and then you'll realize that it's not. I don't think that's is that the case here? Is this the same as that? Sometimes they'll shift them a little bit more towards one side than the other. So then when you line it up for that, it's not the right way to do it. There, we'll do something like that. Regardless, these are one of those personal preference things that if somebody really doesn't like it, I just redo it anyways. Okay, so that, oh, they have these little arrows here. So that's like that, that's like that. Let's go up a little bit higher. And then that should be good. All right, something like that. Cool. I might need to get my light for this one. What time is it? 3:50. Uh-oh, they're gonna start their stream soon. Matt's taking too long on a windshield strip. What's he doing? Oh, there's my light. That's fine. They can hang on for a little bit. I think we'll be just on time. I think I'm doing, I want to do 5 and 35, like 5 all the way around, 35 on the windshield. Ooh, that is the darkest that I'll do for somebody right there. 35 on a windshield, I really like it. It's a little bit dark, like it stands out a lot, but when you're driving with it, like 35% on your front doors would generally be like people consider a little light. So on a windshield, I think it cuts down the right amount of glare. Really comfortable to drive around with. I like it a lot. I think it'll look good. 5% is a little bit too dark on the sides for me, but I mean, no doubt it'll look good. All right, do this in pieces. The installation for me always goes a little bit quicker than trying to figure out where I want to put it. When everything lines up with the tab, it's so much easier. Or if you have a pretty defined AS1 line or something that looks pretty good, works out a little bit better, but in this case, we did a little bit more back and forth. Have you ever done 35% Pro Nano all the way around? Yeah, for sure. It's not the most common request. Generally, like I've done a lot of 35, but 20 and 5 are what more people request. It's a little more common. 35 though is a great shade. It's just on the lighter side of things, so like I was talking about before. But if you add the windshield, it'll definitely have a little bit of a darker look for 35. Mine meters at 30%, even though the box is 35. That's a little crazy. I mean, it's kind of nice because there's less, like you said, when somebody asks for 30, there you go. You just give them that. Typically, films don't always meter exactly what they say on the box. They'll round it off in the box, but it can be a few up or a few down. But it should be pretty close. But it's It's what people know. Dudes at my shop scolded me for getting it done at a shop because they think Walmart tint's the same. Okay, even if it's the same, having somebody that's like skilled and knows what they're doing, like how is that even scoldable? Like I paid somebody that knows what they're doing to do it. That's like, I mean, you can argue that's sometimes worth more than the film that they're, I mean, it's easily equal to what they're putting on the car, I think. Having somebody that knows what they're doing for tint is, like, you can have a great film and a terrible job. Some people would rather have a cheap film and a good job. That's hilarious. That's all right. They don't know. I don't try and preach to people that don't want to hear it. Sides and windshield is what I want to do. It'll look cool. Do it. So taking the windshield into consideration, yeah. Yeah, I'd do it too. I mean, right now I have 35 on my front doors and 50 on my windshield, but I would absolutely do 50 or 35 on my windshield too. But I don't want to ask like my wife to drive something with 35 on the windshield. You know, when you have other people driving the same vehicle, do what's a little bit safer. Plus, it's a great, like, I also use it as a demo. So, I used to knock on my dad for this because I wasn't in sales. He would sell up front, and I'd tint in the back. But I'd want to tint a car with what I felt looked the best. But he would want to tint a car with what sells the best. And he's absolutely right. You got to have it be relatable. So he would have people that would like, hey, what's the difference between 5? What's the difference between 15, 20? And he didn't have, like, we didn't have 2 or 3 vehicles to leave out in the parking lot at the time. It was like he had his own personal vehicle that he was selling off of. So, especially when other people have like factory tinted SUVs and stuff like that. So he did like 5 in the back glass, 20 on the back doors, 35 on the front, and 50 on the windshield. And it's just a really good thing to like show people if those are your main shades that you carry. It's like, okay, let me show you the difference between 20 and 35 side by side. So those are at least my most common, like, those I think are easier to show than to talk about. And then for 5, it's just like, you just show them a back window or something that's limoed out. It's like, it looks black, and now you just can't see in it. It looks good. This looks good. I like it. We're a little bit high, but it's still, the nice thing about this is they actually laminate the dots, so you don't see any dot matrix. It's all hidden. So we'll close the doors. We'll show it. We're going to run a little bit into 4, which will be fine because they'll start their stream. I think they got a 5-minute countdown anyways. I don't want to send people at the beginning. I want to send it when it's fun. Finally got the live stream. Thank you for all your videos. You're very welcome. And I'm super sorry because we're basically done with the car. Aw, I always feel bad. Somebody tells me like, yes, finally got a stream. Oh, it's done? No. I always wonder what keeps people, like, that can't catch streams. What keeps you from catching it? Is it just, like, you're working, so you can't, like, put it on your phone, leave it in a corner or somewhere? I always wonder. Because even if I was tinning, and I wanted to watch something like this, I just, like, just put it on my phone and leave it in a corner or something. Do other stuff. 5,000 away from the play button. Congrats. Thank you. We're getting there. We're like one solid video away from 100. It'll slow down. We're either like... Okay, so here's the brutal truth. We're either 5 months away of just doing what we're doing now, I think, or we're one good semi-viral video away from 100,000. One good video is gonna make me hit it in like a week. No worries, I'll rewatch it. Oh, I appreciate it. There was always like, so later on, like, there's a live streamer that I watch, but he would always stream at night, and he'd stream on Twitch, and I was always upset because he would stream at night. But I would watch it the next day, and it was something that I never really needed to be there live for, although it was nice to get the occasional question in and stuff like that, because that's what's really nice about live streaming. But I would listen to him like a podcast, so. So I do forget about that, because if I'm at home with the baby and my wife, it's like if I have stuff I'm listening to, you can't focus on home. Whoa! There was like one little speck. We took care of it. No, stop, wipers. Are you good? Good. Boing! I just discovered your channel for the first time. I couldn't stop watching it. The guy used to tint my cars in my hometown, used to let me hang out, and it was super satisfying to see. Oh, that's nice. That is nice when you have a nice chill window tint dude that does your cars and he'll let you hang out in the back. I yell at people. I go, no, I'm streaming. I gotta talk to internet people. Going over to Sun Distributing stream? Dang. Look at that. Losing people already. What is it? You have the chance to watch me clean up a car or win a keg? I mean, what sounds better? Peace, bro. Whatever. It's alright, we'll be done in a minute here. It's actually worked out really well. We did the full thing in ceramic. And I'm really happy with the way this thing turned out. I mean, I think I say that often, but there's something always, like, some cars just, they go really smoothly, and you're really proud of the work that you do, and sometimes you have to, like, fight to get there. That was this morning. I had to fight the Jeep. I wasn't happy about it. But on this one, I didn't feel like there was any fighting. It was just all easy going. Which is nice, because it's a pretty straightforward car. But hey, you know what? Sometimes I feel like a total noob with any car that I do. Where do you guys want? Well, I guess we'll stay on YouTube. I was gonna say Facebook or YouTube. I'll link both. But I always have an easier time watching stuff on YouTube. Whenever I go to live streams on Facebook, they're kind of messy. Like getting the player is okay, but it's when you want to like minimize it and stuff. Facebook Lives is always kind of annoyingly messy. But some people don't have YouTube Premium with background play, so I don't know what that life is like. All right, so we are going to wipe this off. We'll shut all the doors, and we'll give you guys a good look at what this is like with everything shut. One side. We're gonna have to keep track of keys here too, so we don't want those things to go missing. Do we have the key? Where's the key? Where do I put the key? Inside, outside, mirror. I think I heard them fall. Is that right? Did they fall? Oh no. This is where everything falls apart. Something fell. Maybe not. Ooh, keys are in here. It wouldn't have done that. No. Sorry, let me take a stick. I thought I heard something crash down, but if the car's gonna start up, I either have them in a pocket or they fell somewhere. That's a pretty easy way to tell with a push button. There it is. Oh no, how did we get that? Oh, I got it. Yes! Oh, that would have driven me crazy. There we go. All right. So, 5% strip, 20% ceramic all the way around. We do the 5% strip because that's the only thing that makes sense on a windshield, for a windshield strip. 20% is too light. So you can see like silhouettes. You can see through when you're like squatting down, but like when you're more propped up, looking into the cabin, gives it a nice even dark look. 20 is really, really good for that. Good amount of privacy, not a pain to look through. Most popular choice, Canon. Even factory tint, they agree with that. Well, that was fun. So we gotta shout out some super chats, and then Sun Distributing should have a stream going. And then I can point you guys all over in that direction because we ended at a pretty good time here. Have you heard of Suntech window tint? No, I haven't. Sorry. Sound like a white label. Like a white box label. All right. Big thanks to Pablo, Jose, Daniel, Doobie, Swolgang, Christopher, Daniel, Jorge. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I greatly appreciate it. I'm working on some stuff in the background. I don't want to talk about it too much, but I think some sort of like a video conference thingy would be really helpful, and I just want to figure out how to make that happen in a tangible way. I don't know, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then we're doing some other stuff in the background too. This should be pretty fun here. But thank you guys for watching. I greatly appreciate all the support. And I think it'll be not tomorrow, but maybe the next day that we have another live stream. In the meantime, let me pull up YouTube here. Ooh, here it is.
Oh, shit.
Hey, we're gonna mute them. Whoa, they got fire now? Why don't I have fire? Look at this flashy background that they got. This is Eric from Tint Wiz, so you guys have probably seen a lot of the Tint Wiz stuff. I don't know what she's saying.
Random name picker ever, and I.
Oh, they're talking about other stuff right now. Okay, so wow, are they gonna do it like right now, or are they just talking about it? Okay, so is it happening right now? Hey! Well, look at that. Somebody just won a keg. All right, I'm gonna send you guys over this way because you have the
Why is it an
opportunity to
upside?
win more.
Marco's great. Oh,
Let me
Corey, my
let me
guy.
drop
So
this.
close.
Oh, shoot, where's the window? Here's a link. If you guys want to go check out Sun Distributing, they have been a very big supporter of the streams. They some of you guys know who they are.
I missed
Corey
it.
has tried so hard to win a keg.
Oh, how do I mute this? They've been a big supporter of the stream. They've also been trying to do their own with more distribution stuff because that is what they do. They also build the Tint kegs. So look at that. That is what somebody just won right now. So Tint Wiz, I guess, is doing a special collab with them. They're going to be giving some away. Somebody just won one. You have the opportunity to go and win more. So if you want to go check them out, I'm dropping links in the description. You can also check out their Facebook. I don't know if I want to bring up that live stream. Oh, God. Hang on. Because Facebook is annoyingly complicated. I got to, like, even search to find them. There we go. And here, I'll just link their Sun Distributing Facebook thing, I think. Do it? Oh, yeah, facebook.com/sundistributing. That's easy enough. Sweet. So there's that. So both those links, one to YouTube, where you can just watch them where you already are, or one on Facebook if you guys want to go check them out there. Either one. But thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate you hanging out. I'll probably be hanging out there a little bit myself. I got to deliver this car, and then that'll be my day. So later. Y'all have a good one. Thank you again.